Welcome to What the Flick, Masters of Sex, Season 3, Episode 2, called Three's a Crowd.
Yes.
And they drove that point home.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they said.
But I didn't mind it so much.
No, it was okay. And the book is Bill's baby, and Lizzie Kaplan's having her own baby. They drove the...
There was a lot of parallel
yeah.
Narrative structure going on.
There was a lot of parallel narratives.
Many different times.
A lot of births,
we had
right. But,
three ways.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Who'd have thunk? In my life, seldom when I'm going through a crisis of conscience and existentialism, seldom does a royal family come through my life to kind of put it all in perspective, just exactly what my life's problem is.
First of all, not just a royal family. One of the most loathsome men of the back half of 20th century Middle Eastern politics.
Well, is this the same Shah we put up for a while?
It's 1965. It has to be. I mean, he's the Shah.
Yeah.
Like, he got deposed in 1979.
Good Lord.
You know, and came here and caused the seizing of hostages.
Yes.
So I mean, obviously, I don't think it's him. I don't know that he had a problem and got rid of his wife, and I don't know that it would have been on television, covered live.
With like six people standing around like, what's going on?
What's going on in Persia?
Oh, God, come on, pull through.
Tell me more about what's happening in what formerly used to be known as Persia. That was a little ridiculous. Also, the reception was great. Everything was like, it was perfect. It was, but that said, so like we're supposed to sympathize with him, and I'm thinking, I think this guy was a kind of a monster.
I think a lot of the monster situations were also like American foreign policy decisions to futz with people. But I overtly don't remember any of that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
Like it's bad how little of that chapter I remember that hasn't been refreshed by Argo or like CNN's The 70s.
I sent a photo into CNN's The 70s because I'm a Turner host. I sent a picture of me and my dad, sort of from the 70s. Me at whatever age.
Is it in like the opening credit sequence?
I think it was. Yeah, I never saw it, but a couple people saw it.
Cool.
Most people, I'm sure, were like, I don't know who any of those people are.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I just thought it was puzzling to use the Shah, because rather than like the Homeland way of doing it, which is like the leader of a unnamed or a made-up Middle Eastern country.
I don't mind.
It was fun. No, I found it. I found it curious, and I was curious about the decision. Of course, I didn't mind it. The Shah had human feelings, I'm sure, and loved his kids and his wife, and it was important, obviously, to have a successor. It was an interesting storyline. But I, of course, thought during that scene when she's patting Lizzie Kaplan's belly that, like, it was awkward, not because Lizzie had continued with the pregnancy, but because she had terminated it and it was awkward. Like, I still didn't get it.
Oh, you still didn't get that she was keeping it.
I got it, whatever, 45 seconds later when they told me.
On the whole, I liked this episode.
I did too. So did I.
I haven't liked much of this show because I felt lost in it, just in terms of like what they were doing with the show.
I thought season 1 was pretty excellent.
Yeah.
I really liked season 1.
Same.
I did not really. I could have. I was done. I could have been done after season 2. I didn't find it compelling viewing. But in season 1, we had so much. We had more of
nudity.
We had more Bo
and
Bridges and Allison Janney, and I thought they were. That scene together of him trying to make it work with Allison Janney still strikes me as one of the. That's in some top 25 TV scenes that I've seen.
Season 2 was about like the adversity to, if I'm remembering correctly, the study.
Right.
And the adversity to the business's solvency.
Right.
Like whether he could keep it up financially.
And then
so to speak.
Right, and his wife sort of finding her own sensuality.
Yeah, those parts were fine. But by and large, I just didn't find compelling that whole thing. I like that in this episode we get back to sexual politics of the day, interpersonal drama with the people in the show, and sexual politics as it plays out in society. Those stories walking into their office. Yeah. And us being able to deal with that.
It's 1965. Great line in the first episode, that we are the sexual revolution. But I also missed her skirt being open meant she was pregnant. I missed that too. I
I
did
was
not
like,
know-
I thought he was just
my hunch is
perving out on her.
Every woman, or he was mad that she was sloppy.
I thought he was
like I think every woman understood what that meant.
Yeah.
And
Putting
I'm
on
like,
a
I
few.
don't know if she forgot to snap her skirt, idiot.
I thought she forgot to snap her skirt, and he's perving out on
Right.
like, ooh,
But let's
Virginia.
talk, so it's I like this episode too, and I'm glad to see like out of nowhere George,
Which one's George?
the husband,
The husband back.
right? The husband back, and I like what I like about George is because now he's the only person who treats Michael Sheen, who treats Bill like maybe everyone ought to treat him. Like he's pretty unpleasant.
Yeah.
In every regard to everyone about everything in every moment. And so here's at least a guy like, I'm not talking to you, Sonny. You know, he's not just, he's dismissive, he's angry. And I was like, yeah, that's right. He's not talking to you, Sonny.
Yeah, they're the biggest challenge. I like Michael Sheen as an actor.
Yeah, he's
I like the
phenomenal,
performance. Just when I sit down and design my lead character,
Right. Got to be,
it's just like a little. He's an unpleasant guy.
he's unpleasant.
And in such a way that it makes scenes go by with fits and starts, in a way that, like, for me, when I watch sitcoms or I watch, any television, and it gets to be too awkward, I literally will fast forward through those scenes because I always get frustrated when it frequently feels like writers misconstrue that as like real awesome drama.
Right.
When for me, yes, it makes me feel something. The thing it makes me feel is terrible.
just, I want to fast forward.
Yeah,
Right.
but not like a compelling, dramatic device for dread.
It's really hard. Awkward it's got to be very good, and there has to be something else going on with the awkwardness.
Yeah.
But I don't disagree with you because you have to like the guy at some level, even if he's a monster. There has to be, and I like, and in the moment where there's a great scene between his wife and Lizzie Kaplan, where his wife is inexplicably saying this is about me.
Yeah.
Right? Which is she's fairly entitled to because she's like you guys look at, even though they've never told us that the wife knows. They've just
Right.
now established
She figured
she's
it
got
out.
it out and they can handle it. And she had that nice scene saying, "Look, I want to keep my family." I don't
Right.
care. But so it is her business. They imposed their own sexual relationship on her. But she's sitting there screaming at this woman who's pregnant by herself.
Yes.
Right? And which is so that was awkward, but also wonderful. But here are these two unbelievably gorgeous, like interesting women, women who have a view in the world that is interesting, and you want to know more from them. What they have to say is they're both of them, far more interesting to spend time with than this sort of doofus who they're both competing for.
Yes, that's the thing. That is frustrating. I do agree that was a really great scene.
It was good, man.
I
gotta stop saying his wife. We gotta know her.
Betty.
name. No, but I want the actress because she's so good.
Okay,
Caitlin Fitzgerald.
Caitlin Fitzgerald was great. When it comes down to those two,
No, it's not Betty. Libby.
Libby?
Betty is
Betty's the secretary.
and she's fantastic too.
I also like her. Sorry, so Libby is the okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those two. I have no experience personally with 12 years of like passionless,
yeah.
awkward, silent marriage.
Yeah.
But I think that's what justified to me how angry Libby was getting and how irate she must be. Because she has over the years exploded and said, like, this is a problem, Bill. We got to figure this out. But I see that kind of exploding into this relationship because, when it comes to the personal connection that Libby is trying to have with her husband and the fact that this other woman has gotten it and then some. Like, I understood that. And I really liked it the way that pushed out. Speaking of pushing things out, the
Yes.
the baby aspect, like the last scene. There were two scenes that were similar. One was the marriage scene, and the other was the birth scene. And the fact that the marriage scene was intercut the religious scene, or like
with the lawyer.
The
It was
lawyer.
intercut with the.
I thought that was fantastic.
That was great.
So
was
that
really
scene
good.
in taking the two aspects of marriage, which really encapsulates what this show is about. It's about like there's this one thing, and to different people it means different things. How natural is one versus the other? you had the marriage where the reverend was presiding over it, and then you cut to the lawyer saying, like, this means literally nothing.
It was really well, that was exceptionally well conceived and then really well done. Michelle Ashford directed this. Anna Lee Ashford is Betty. Maybe it's well known what that connection is, but I don't know it, and feel free to
You think that they're related to each other?
I'm going to guess sisters, but who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's Ashford. It's not the most common name ever, but they're both on the same show. One directs it, one's in it. It would be no, I have no idea.
You want it to be
I want it to be true. I want them to be sisters.
This is drama.
Oh, I want them to be married.
This is drama that already the viewers have figured out because they've opened a new window.
Right.
And just gone, yes or no. Idiots.
Yeah, that was, I thought, exceptionally well done. The way that was handled with the lawyer and the wedding, and the little touches. Then the way Libby reached out to George, like that he wasn't going to contest custody. Like there was some tenderness between them that you almost never see with Bill. Like she grabbed his foot, like.
Oh, I thought he was shaking his foot, and she's like, stop it.
Maybe that could have been it. I thought that there was at least a few moments of, hey man, thanks for doing me a solid, NYPD Blue.
Right.
Yeah. But maybe not. Maybe you're right. Maybe his foot was moving. You're probably right. That's probably what it was. I probably missed it.
And then he angrily
he puts the cigarette out.
Yeah. And then the last scene with the birth of the baby, and then the presentation of the book in the newsstand or wherever, bookstore. Her baby, his baby,
right.
Their baby that they've put out together.
I got it. We got it. But that said, it was okay. And a rare human moment for Bill he had a nice human moment with her daughter in the previous episode, in the car, sort of teaching her about, telling her just to be careful and being a grown-up about sex. So he had that. But when he left the hospital, like he's like, I'm not, he like stood up to say like, hey, George, hey, so we're all going to have a kid, and then he was like, I should go.
Yeah.
Like that was a nice moment of his.
That was wise.
Or he just thought, oh wait, the book's out. I'm going to go look at it.
Right. Oh, I have autism. I don't understand social cues. Let's just go see if the bookstore's open at 9:45 at night.
It's funny because I watched last night the last hour and 10 minutes of Bridget Jones's Diary. It was just on. I did something I never do, which is like find a movie, and it was on, and I watched because my wife and kid are out of town, and like when Mark Darcy, when Colin Firth goes to leaves after reading the diary, and like you think he's leaving, I'm like, it's dark. How is their bookstore open?
Yeah,
like I get it, it's winter, maybe it's only 6, but it seems later.
That's just no one has any real world experience. Is what that is.
But it's sweet. I was into it. I was into the last hour of Bridget Jones' Diary. Way more than I thought I would be, and somehow Bridget Jones' Diary feels slightly related to Masters of Sex.
I get it.
Yeah.
So also, what else happened? In this episode, there was an interaction between Lizzie Kaplan and her daughter, saying, "You're the worst daughter I basically raised myself." Loved that scene.
The daughter is, she's,
Is that the orphan girl?
Oh, the
orphan who's just like the weird, like Vera Farmiga.
The one that was the orphan.
The orphan from Orphan.
That was good. I don't think it's her.
She's great.
It could be.
She's great. That was a well-directed scene. There was a moment where it almost looks like she's staring directly down camera at me, saying, I'm a bad mother.
Totally. And when she was backing up, when she was like, don't go with that girl, and they had her backing up down there. That might have been not the exact same scene, but
it was.
That
was a later scene. But still, in that same scene, we have the cameras kind of following
her. And also, it's just Tessa's, the daughter, her relentlessness. That assault, it never stops. It's like there was a Donald Trump quality to that. Like, I don't care, you can't stop me. Ooh, wait, human emotion. I've hurt my mother. I went too far. Boom, you're still not going to give me the car.
Right.
Boom, again. I just like you wonder how Lizzie Kaplan is standing. At the end of that scene.
Like what is it? There's a John Mulaney stand-up that's like 13-year-olds. They have teenagers. They have a specific way of making fun of you in the way that you feel worst about. I do have high feminine hips. Is his joke. He's like, I did not know that anyone else noticed that, but you did raise yourself on your own.
She did. She nailed it. All right, we got to go. We'll be back next week, episode 3. I thought this was nice. I'm enjoying season 3 far more than season 2.